My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only, and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft.
Alrighty, it is Wednesday, October 8th, 2025, and what you'll see in the images is the city of Ontario. This is the state of California engaging in gang stalking. This is demonic activity, so what you're seeing today is an iteration of the same exact pattern of conduct, covering up the fake sun, where the objective is to stalk with light. It's not engineered light. At nightfall, it's not headlights. It's engineered light, where stalking, moreover, by demon-possessed people. And so you're looking at demon possession as it's exhibited through the use of commercial vehicles, which is a civil prosecution and a criminal prosecution of corrupt businesses while still exposing public corruption. And these are demons personified through the use of stalking with methods of light. This is chiefly underway today, going from stalking from 537 North Euclid Avenue, where I am, where the entity is stalking with light, stalking me as a population, and doing so as I go to the Ontario Town Square. And so I'm capturing the entity that is stalking in the path, maintaining light activity. This is chiefly underway by Leonida Builders Incorporated, Brightview, and of course the city of Ontario. The entity targeting with businesses that I've captured, including graffiti protective coatings. I believe it's C-Max, the street sweeper, another demon with flashing of light. The entity maintaining this while the entity is stalking with planes and helicopters, and the fake sun remains over the top of my head, for example. Covering up the fake sun, you're looking at the same objective. And the people of the state, massive light activity. License 9BIN 940. These are demons that are engaged in criminal facilitation while Brightview, Leonida surround the perimeter, stalking in path to where it is that I'm going, Ontario Town Square, the Chevron, OVITT Family Community Library. These are businesses, these are the people of the state. This is terrorism, and it's also sexual violence. These businesses are going to be prosecuted as sex offenders, they're going to be prosecuted as terrorists, they're going to be prosecuted as stalkers. And this is mental illness, which is going to be associated with these corrupt companies. The entities engaged in this conduct need to be clear. Anthesis, which is in the medical field dealing with mentally challenged people, they are themselves mentally ill, while they're demons using those of that mental incapacity to engage in gang stalking me. Those are demons that suffer from mental incapacities that you're familiar with, such as Down syndrome, by the way. And Leonida, the city of Ontario, they're using that specifically, LEOBLD2. Those are the demons that are engaging in the pattern of conduct. Leonida, these companies, including Anthesis, that are, remember, the mentally incapacitated, like people that are of Down syndrome, the type of clients that the corrupt business, the gang stalking business, the terrorist and the sex offender, Anthesis, are in the role of taking care of. They're bringing them to participate in criminal activity. It's akin to, analogous to, contributing to the delinquency of minors. And these are demons that are engaging in that. And I want to be clear, those that suffer with Down syndrome are not an exception to the pattern of conduct. They engage in the same demonic P.O.C. The entities, again, engage in what is very foolish, and there's no exception. Demon possession and the demonic behavioral pattern, stalking with light, being present in the environment, it doesn't change because the third party is one with Down syndrome. Just so that you know. 42148F3. 8MXL523. This is letting you know, however, about the demon-possessed, their attitude toward those that suffer from those type of conditions. 8ZTM300, as though they are of some sort of means whereby the criminal pattern of conduct is not capable to occur because of their status, because of their state, which says a lot about their opinions, their statements, their status toward 8XXE361, their position toward being documented and having a bunch of people with Down syndrome around me. That's going toward the people. Those are the demons that are unfit to be in the medical field. They're unfit to be in a position to take care of people that cannot take care of themselves. And regardless of where the demons of Anthesis are driving them to engage in criminal conduct, the entities engaging and will still be prosecuted exactly the same. What you are learning is that Satan does not have any sort of means whereby there's an exception, except for those that are in Christ Jesus. And that's why I'm amongst the demons, and I am not of the demons. I am the only exception. License 9AOC020, 9BCR415, the Holy Spirit, in other words. Christ Jesus is the exception. There is no condition or status that's an exception. 6ZBK964. 7PMB875, and Securitas is gang stalking. These companies are maintaining criminal facilitation in the city of Ontario. Remember, they're mindful and aware of all my evidence, and it is the same pattern of conduct. So 5BMN577 and FedEx, gang stalking, terrorism with their commercial planes as well. This is the demon with license 23752Z3. This is corruption by FedEx, facilitation by FedEx, and it's the same legal analysis. And the president of Leonida, the image and his name is captured on the Google Drive. The entity is going to be, in the same way that the companies are targeting me, it's going to be a very targeted prosecution. And it's going to be a civil and criminal prosecution. And you cannot quantify the damages inherent to being sexually violated by companies, the entire workforce of that company, using the company owners, those that are aware of documentation. And these are demons that think because they have so much money and power and authority, oh, little old me, they can come and they'll send in more trucks, they'll send in more planes, they'll send in more employees and terrorize even more. I'm gonna prosecute you for that. It's terrorism and it's impunity, and that's relevant to damages. And you don't have a constitutional right to even keep the company, and it doesn't matter how big you think that you are. You will find out how you are not above the law. 59590C2. 331162. The entity is lining what is Lemon Avenue, where the entity has the fake sun over me, and I'm going from the Ontario Town Square to the OVITT Family Community Library. The entity is stalking with light, where the entity has the commercial vehicles lined along Lemon Avenue with flashing lights. The entity is stalking with light, making sure they're lining my path, and it's massive facilitation. And this is all Brightview, Leonida, FedEx, for example, the city of Ontario, the people of the state. They're gang stalking in concert as a population, and the companies are not superseding the ongoing criminal conduct to terrorism by the people of the state. They are individually acting as an entity. I am collectively documenting. I'm documenting the whole city. I'm documenting the state. I'm prosecuting the entity. But I want to be clear, Brightview is not going to take the place of any defendant that's documented. The demon that makes pennies a week is going to be prosecuted in the same way that Brightview is going to be prosecuted. It's not going to change. And not only that, the entities engage in this conduct, and they're doing so while they're paying attention to my documentation. That's also relevant to how they're going to be prosecuted and why they're going to be prosecuted and the way that they shall be prosecuted. It's also informing federal legislation with regard to the malice and the intent to obstruct justice by governments, corrupt actors, those intending to obstruct justice, and those that act with complete disregard while you do not maintain a right to have a business in California where you're engaging in terrorizing American citizens, which is what Leonida Builders Incorporated is engaged in, Brightview is engaged in, and systematically engaged in. And doing so, and that's the entity that's engaged in this on behalf of corrupt governments. Remember, Brightview is targeting in furtherance of murder. Leonida Builders Incorporated is targeting in furtherance of murder. They're engaging in what is the perpetual sex offense, and they're enabling sexual violence. They're pacing all around with impossible light as I begin moving, in the same way that the entity starts sounding plain activity and moving the fake sun as I begin moving. The entity engages in this while outside monitoring my vagina inside. And that's exactly what these businesses are going to be prosecuted as, because that's what they're doing. And they're openly exposing their sexual violence while they make money and pay employees to engage in terrorism. And those that are of the immigrant population, they shall be deported. This is terrorism by Brightview, terrorism by Leonida Builders Incorporated, terrorism by the City of Ontario. And this is exposing the entity with regard to ICE and the jurisdiction that the federal government has to deport domestic terrorists in the City of Ontario, in the state of California, as I'm exposing the system of gang stalking and the ways in which they're engaging in the same exact pattern of conduct as they cover up that which it's not even the sun in the first place. It's not the natural environment. So they cover up their light source that remains over me, where they're all stalking with light, and they're all still stalking with light while I'm surrounded with commercial vehicles from the place of origin, 537 North Euclid Avenue, until the place where the entity is stalking, until the library opens, where the entity keeps, as you know, the fake sun from time of entry until time of exit, and then engage in the same light activity where the entity is maintaining commercial businesses that are monitoring with the City of Ontario, antithesis. So let me show you a bunch of demons that have Down syndrome, and they're gang stalking with the City of Ontario. Because that's the City of Ontario that's stalking, flying over on video last night, and impossible light all over the wall of the 537 North Euclid Avenue, and there are no planes that are taking off over 531 North Euclid Avenue over the Trinity ministries. That's the entity stalking with planes, and the entity sounding plane activity while a bunch of demons with antithesis. Antithesis is engaged in monitoring and facilitation, bringing those of this sort of condition to engage in the same exact light activity, criminal presence, and doing so with regard to the City of Ontario's criminal pattern of conduct. Antithesis is a sex offender and engaged in domestic terrorism, and they employ those that have that mental, well, it's not even about mental actually to them, it's just about the way that it looks. You're not deceived. There is a body of evidence, including podcasts, and nothing about what Antithesis is doing is different from what the OVITT Family Community Library is doing as the employees. And to be clear with you, they are all mentally ill. They have the same condition, demon possession. The entity stalking with planes right now is coexisting with, again, the documented third parties, Leonida and Brightview, and the people of the state that are pacing, whose license plates I will be dictating. They're stalking in the path as I am being targeted by that entity, en route to the square and then en route to the OVITT Family Community Library, okay? This is P.O.C. You're gonna pay attention to what the exact same pattern of conduct that's documented last night at the, it's P.O.C. License GRG-GKG, that's plane activity. And it is currently, by the way, 10:06 a.m. Leonida Builders Incorporated is stalking in the path with light. That is analogous to the sun being right here over me, which the entity is covering up. Brightview and Leonida Builders are surrounding the perimeter with light. That's what I've been documenting. The tree trimming. They're on Holt Boulevard and Euclid Avenue, and all the demons that are crossing path in traffic is light activity, and it is analogous to the same method of stalking with light by the entire entity while the fake sun remains right here. And where is it upon my exit? It is still right here. As I walk out in the afternoon, the entity is stalking with light, and that's the significance of driving under the fake sun, having your flashes on under the fake sun. The objective is the entity maintaining an environment conducive to light activity, relative positioning, and audible activity. There's no planes that are taking off from the airport that's going to sound here. The entity is adding to 6YFT893's criminal engagement in the pattern of conduct. My voice is audible noise while they're crossing path, and they're doing so as demons. And this is relevant to the population keeping my vagina under surveillance inside of the OVITT Family Community Library. It is currently 10:06. You saw the Ontario Police Department gang stalking at 9:55 a.m. where the fake sun was right here. You saw yesterday morning where the fake sun was right here. You saw what was before I went to the city of Chino, and the entity had the fake sun over me in an entirely different city, which means that the sun in a natural environment would not be here. But after going and documenting what's not the sun, the entity put the fake sun right back here. Covering up the fake sun does not delete that evidence, and it's showing you the criminal engagement in the elements of monitoring, which is demonic. Leonida is being operated by a demonic, is being operated by a demon, and it's engaging in the demonic pattern of conduct and its criminal activity. And Paul Leon's office, sharing in what is stalking with plain activity, going to be removed. And that's relevant to, again, Ronald Leverage, equally engaged in ongoing targeting. And at nightfall, look at the video that I captured last night, stalking me way down there off of Euclid Avenue, stalking, flying over the building where I'm located, just like they are now, stalking now, taking off from the planes, taking off from the airport is not going to create that level of plane activity. Covering up so you can only hear the plane and can't see the plane is equal. Stalking with plane activity, that's not going to be heard. It's not going to occur over an elderly apartment complex. It's not going to occur when you're flying miles through the city, hovering still over where I'm located at 537 at nightfall. And neither are their headlights creating multiple shadows all over. Those are the demons that are stalking with light. That's what this is. It's demonic. And it is facilitating the terrorists that are going to federal prison for this criminal pattern of conduct, as Leonida and Brightview are establishing the criminal P.O.C. underway inside of the OVITT Family Community Library with the same exact city of Ontario. This is P.O.C. This is documentation of impunity, which is relevant to why the demons inside of the OVITT Family Community Library committing kidnapping as an entity are going to federal prison. It is mandated as a matter of justice. This is P.O.C. It is currently 10:08 a.m. Alrighty, capturing that video, the entity stalking with the airport. This is what the entity is doing. And remember, it's all going back to those that are going to prison, those that are working inside of the OVITT Family Community Library, keeping my vagina under surveillance, stalking and harassing me with light, just like Leonida is outside, because that's what they're doing when I'm showing you that impossible light activity inside of this library. And they're going to federal prison for committing kidnapping upon what is also criminal defamation. All right, and the entity is only showing and proving the criminal acts that I was subject to as I documented it at the OVITT Family Community Library, and you go to federal prison for that as a domestic terrorist in the United States. That's exactly what the employees at this venue are going to suffer as a penalty for committing kidnapping as an entity with that city of Ontario that's targeting at the OVITT Family Community Library with planes, targeting at the OVITT Family Community Library with helicopters, targeting at the OVITT Family Community Library with the terrorizing environment conducive to violating my privacy in private spaces such as the bathroom, where no employee and no government actor and no corrupt business like a third-party company, Leonida, Brightview, etc., facilitating that sexual violence, keeping my vagina under surveillance in the bathroom as they create light activity in relevant position. That's what's the significance of keeping a fake sun. So the entity is showing its, the defendant, in other words, is clearly identifying itself when you're in that specific environment, maintaining the elements of monitoring. The criminal pattern of conduct doesn't stop or pause, which, by the way, is common sense. So the next day when you covered up what was never the sun in the first place, that's not causing anybody to think, oh, they must not be targeting anymore. Okay, the case is over, then we're just going to throw it out. This is the entity that is desperate, and it's also mentally ill. Their mental illness is also put on full display while they're engaged in the pattern of conduct in the first place. Okay, defendants like Anthesis and the facilitation by the City of Ontario is speaking to all the ways in which psychopaths are a harm to society. And those that are incapable of defending themselves, those that are incapable of, because I want to be clear, those that are, they're being driven around by Anthesis. They're not victims, they're monitoring, but they are being driven around while they're under the care of other malicious psychopaths that are supposed to be in the business of taking care of, and you're not taking care of them when you're including them in criminal conduct. Remember, Anthesis was targeting at Starbucks as well, under the fake sun, with the entity stalking by planes, with the entity stalking by helicopter. It is very specific, and Anthesis is speaking to what are psychopaths that are unfit to be in the medical field at any level, at any degree. Okay, bringing in the mentally incapacitated to participate in criminal conduct, and also doing so knowingly that it's going to be documented, which is not, that's not defeating any of my prosecutorial purposes at all. It's the same criminal elements, by the way. And you don't look less guilty because you have Down syndrome. You don't look less capable of engaging in elements monitor. This is the entity that's, again, very much lacking in the intelligence quotient area. I am not playing. These are all failed tactics. All of it are failed tactics. The entity is acting as one, and anthesis will be prosecuted. And it's also relevant to the ways in which anthesis should be prosecuted in the way in which it's a harm to the public. Exposing those of that condition that may or may not of their own volition even come and gang stalk me. Not stating that they're not engaging in the pattern, because they are. All right, they are, and they're doing so with regard to what is demon possession. It's the same, and it's not stopping, because it's not. When you're drunk, you're still engaging in the pattern of conduct. They engage in the same conduct, stalking with light, stalking with noise, and finding some method to stalk with light. Those with Down syndrome engaging in some method of stalking with light, the very same demonic behavioral pattern where they're monitoring, and it's surveillance by the government. It's surveillance. So it is P.O.C. It's 1012, but pay attention to those details, because it's relevant to the unfit and improper placement in the medical field at any level of the demons that are gang stalking, calling itself anthesis right now. That's P.O.C. Oh, I do want to document Paul Leon. He is a corrupt gang stalking mayor, and that oxymoron is going to be addressed with removal from office. That's what justice requires under those circumstances. You're acting in furtherance of murder, doing so as you're sitting in a position of authority that you think is high above the law, and no one's ever going to suspect, and all of that is been squashed. He's literally stalking under the fake sun from the beginning of the day until the end of the day on Euclid Avenue at 303 East B Street. In Ontario, California, want to document that's a facilitating venue. He's engaged in monitoring with the City of Ontario, participating in all the acts of terrorism by helicopter, by planes, and by the population, monitoring my vagina while he's in the building right behind the OVITT Family Community Library, where I'm showing it's over the entrance at open, the time of open, and then as I go to the back of the library, it's over the back of that library, when at the same time I'm on Route 66 when I'm capturing that time of that video. It's 10:17 a.m. to be exact, and I'm on Route 66 in Upland, California, where the entity's keeping the fake sun. Excuse me, I'm on Route 66 on Foothill, and getting off at the Foothill and Euclid Avenue intersection over the U.S. Bank, over the Bank of America, where that fake sun is sitting, and yet it's sitting very tailored over the top of my head, which is exposing what is stalking with light conduct in the first place. Demons do that. They replicate that using vehicles, using all manner, using signage, using what's supposed to appear as some sort of function. Well, we're doing something. This is why we have the light. We're digging in the ground. We're building a building. We're doing landscape. Whatever the demons think is supposed to be a distraction from demonic behavior, which is serving the government's purpose, because the government's the one that's targeting. The government's the one that's engaging in the pattern of conduct, and demons do so as a matter of public corruption, where they are necessarily wanting to appear focused on something else. In the same way that a stranger that is gang stalking you is doing so while they don't know you, and that's supposed to be to you the deceptive appearance of what is not stalking the targeted individual. The targeted individual is making it up, is hallucinating, is imagining. The malice exhibited by gang stalking companies is going to be met with a civil and a criminal prosecution, and it is not accepting what is federal prison for it as well. They're subject to all of those same punitive penalties. Just want to make sure that that's clear. It is currently 10:15 a.m. I want to make sure that the mayor is on the docket. Excuse me, he will be on the docket. I want to make sure that the mayor is listed as one of the defendants engaging in targeting, engaging in public corruption with the people of the state. All right, who are engaging in sexual violence at the OVITT Family Community Library. And just as an aside, he's engaging in every kidnapping that's committed in the City of Ontario. He's a part of every documented criminal act with intent to obstruct justice, and that's the pattern of conduct in operation where you are sharing in that pattern of conduct, and you definitely are when the fake sun's remaining over me at the Ontario City Hall, when the entity is stalking me by helicopter at the Ontario City Hall, and doing so while I'm capturing the fake sun over me at the Ontario City Hall at all hours of the day. The gang stalking mayor, Paul Leon, is a part of that and doesn't cease to be a part of it when I'm subject to kidnapping and ongoing surveillance of genitalia in the private space where psychopaths fill the venue adjacent to him inside of the OVITT Family Community Library. These are psychopaths. All they're doing is pacing around in the library and trying to hide behind the appearance of a bookcase. That's all they're doing. And it's pathetic, all right, but it's highly criminal. You're talking about the harms that an ordinary target individual suffers, all right? So This is just the venue that I go to. I happen to go to a library, but if I were going to a bank, if I were going to a a college, if I were going to a seminar, if I was going to another state, right? I could capture the pattern of conduct as I get on a plane and go from state to state, and you will witness the same exact pattern of conduct. And this is committed in furtherance of harming that person that is being targeted in psychopathic and demented, unheard of ways. That's why I have to document what is a fake sun. That's why I have to document what is engineered light, what is impossible light activity, what is stalking with light, because it's so absurd with regard to even the phrasing, but that is no reflection on the targeted individual at all. It's revealing the malice of a government that is made up of demons who engage in demonic behaviors designed to target, conducive to maintain surveillance in ways in which people, ordinary people that are not engaged in witchcraft or are not demon possessed, are ignorant of. Okay, and that you're going to prosecute, because that's relevant to malice as well. Because when it's unheard of, then you're like, well, what are you talking about? Like, okay, whatever. That's designed to have that target individual discarded in the first place. And this is what they're doing to ordinary target individuals that don't have any evidence, and they don't even know what to call it. They can't even put their names. So you're talking about on the surface, you're supposed, and then you see on the surface things like what antithesis is engaging in. What are you talking about? They all have Down syndrome. They don't even know what's going on. This is the surface level assessment of everything that's going on when the entity is specifically targeting. Right? Anyway, this is P.O.C. And that malice is going to be flipped on its head, and that's relevant to the prosecution of the government that's acting via antithesis, acting via Leonida builders, acting via Brightview, acting via Ronald Loveridge and Julia Gu, Kurt Hagman, Alan D. Wapner, and Jim Bowman, the Ontario so-called executive board. They're not an executive board. They're pedophiles and sex offenders and psychopaths. They're terrorists. And those are descriptions based on their conduct, based on the actual purpose of that airport and every gang stalking airline. That is not going to be pursuant to what is going to be known, how takeoffs from the Ontario International Airport are conducted, and what is not included. Massive plane activity over the Ontario Town Square, over the 537 North Euclid Avenue address, over G Street at 715 North Euclid Avenue, inside of Tracy Banks' apartment at 408 West G Street, apartment 51, inside of my hotel, any one of them at Economy Inn at 201 South Euclid Avenue. All right, the entities engage in what is clear targeting, and targeting even more specific in that environment that is supernatural. Speaking to everybody in that environment, targeting. It's not going away when you cover up the fake sun. And remember, when they cover up the fake sun, all they do is cover it up till I go into a building, and then it's shine out. And I've documented that before. Okay, I come right back outside. There's the fake sun, which was there the entire time. The entity is stalking with light. That's what Leonida. That's what Brightview, that's what FedEx, that's what the people of the state in their vehicles, crossing path. What are they typically driving in? Engineer light while the fake sun remains on me on Euclid Avenue. And I documented that as I got on Omnitrans, and the fake sun remains over me on the roads and the highways going into the city of Chino, into the city of Montclair, into the city of Upland, and going back into the city of Fontana, going to the city of Pomona, back into the city of Ontario, where the fake sun's back on the same street, going in the same direction hours later, to be over me at the same OVITT Family Community Library, where it's present over me at 7 in the morning. Leonida is stalking in the path with a method of light activity in the same way that the fake sun is a method of stalking with light by millions of people at one time. All right, showing who they are all targeting, and they are all demons. And they represent a government that's going to be prosecuted. This is P.O.C. And again, it is Wednesday, October 8, 2025. P.O.C. Here is the fake sun. They are all monitoring my vagina. It includes Brightview, license 3316D2. It includes license plate 9ATV400, 6WEE654, 8NJL509, and 7SSJ110. Gang stalking immigrants are being deported out of this country. And Leonida Builders LLC is monitoring my vagina, and they're doing so under the fake sun. The line of vehicles right here in light activity is what Brightview was doing right over here on Lemon Avenue. They are surrounding outside of the bathroom which I'm inside of, a demon was inside of the bathroom, and the moment that I'm relieving myself is when the demon creates audible noise. They're doing so under the fake sun. This is the fake sun over the same OVITT Family Community Library. It's 12:27 p.m. Look at the video of the Ontario Police doing exactly what this demon is doing by driving at this entrance at 9:55 a.m. The fake sun is what would be over the same entrance, not the natural environment. And this is where the city of Ontario is with them. This is a sex offense. I'm going to prosecute the businesses. I'm going to prosecute the government. This is P.O.C. This is bathroom monitoring. All right, it is currently, so all they do is have a demon go in. She starts drying her hands. That's audible noise. Like having a demon with a leaf blower in the bathroom. The moment that your vagina is exposed, they're monitoring it. And they're doing so while demons outside are maintaining presence all around. Light activity. Walking under the fake sun is light activity. Flashing lights is light activity. Maintaining presence. This is what ACASADA and the Ontario Police, Ontario Fire are doing. The tow truck. All right, the ongoing hazard lights. That's P.O.C. This is bathroom monitoring. This is prosecution. Remember the kidnapping that's happening on June 22nd, 2022? June 16, 2022. It happens while the fake sun is right here at 10:29 in the morning. It's 12:28 p.m. This is under all circumstances serving for what is prison regarding kidnapping, the sexual violence, the perpetual sex offense committed by the entity. And this is where the fake sun is at 4 p.m. This is where the fake sun is at 6 p.m. Where the entity is engaged in what is monitoring genitalia in a private space, P.O.C. All right, it is currently again 12:28 p.m. This is the sex offense committed by the OVITT Family Community Library, and Paul Leon is gang stalk. I want you to understand who's monitoring my vagina. He is going to be removed for monitoring my vagina. And this is the P.O.C. The sex offense committed by the City of Ontario. They're all in engineer light. These are a bunch of demons monitoring my vagina. Number one, they're all under the fake sun. These are the demons that are stalking all night with the engineered light under the form of what is headlights. These are demons that are stalking with light. The iteration inside is that they're all walking around inside of a building with impossible light activity that's filling. You can see the multiple shadows on the carpet. I want you to look at the bookcases, and then you have a shadow extending outside. This is an inexplicable shadow right here. That's impossible light activity. The entity's maintaining ongoing noise. So these demons in particular are engaging in ongoing noise. This is harassment while they're monitoring, and then while you're in operation of your device, making noise like slamming noises. This is what they're engaged in. This is monitoring. This is the entity that's engaged in what is criminal monitoring with the police while they're engaged in, and these are the demons engaging in that. It's P.O.C. It is 1:46 p.m. These are indeed sex offenders and engaging in what is the
Okay, you're welcome.
get more time on this one? It's number 9. 9?
No. Okay.
I think.
Is that 9 or 6?
Yeah, it's 9.
Okay.
I spoke with, I don't know if you were sitting here earlier, but I spoke with the other guy that works here.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you're sitting there, but someone is making noise over there, being really disruptive, like a constant, like knocking, loud,
That
banging.
person, somebody had told me that person about it, but
I think it was,
that person left, right?
I don't know who it was because it happened again, because I thought there was somebody over there that had a big old bookcase.
Yeah.
Which I still don't know why they were making that noise, but I assumed it was that. But then she wasn't sitting over there when it happened again, and that's when I came and told someone over here, yeah. And he said, whoever works, I don't know his name, sorry, but he said, oh yeah, I know, and he knew something or whatever, and I was like, okay, I just want to let you know they're being disruptive, but they're still doing it. It's like someone's like having a fit, like someone needs to take medication or something, like they're upset.
I thought the person had left that was making the noise with all the books.
I don't know that it's a book. It sounds like it's like a, but not low like that. It's loud. It's constant as in it's still ongoing.
Yeah.
But it's like intermittent, not like every 32 seconds like that. But it's ongoing maintenance of noise over there. It's just disruptive, and it's so loud that I'm hearing it through my headphones.
Is it like someone like putting something down like that? Do you think?
That wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't hear it through my headphones. You know.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what it is.
But it's this area over here.
I'll do a walkthrough and see if I see anything.
Okay. Well, if you could just address the noise level in general, that would be helpful.
I will try.
Anyway, I think this computer is about to time out.
Oh, shoot. No.
Yeah, it's going off in 17 seconds.
Oh, shoot.
16, 15, 14, 13, 12.
Do it?
No, it's gonna go off now. Yeah, it went off.
Did it? Did it go through?
Okay. I have to get on the desktop then, right? Because they told me like you can't add more time. You can only add time before it times out. Yeah.
That's what I've heard. I've not tried it myself, but
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Huh? I didn't hear.
I'm sorry. I can only make reservations for the desktops.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you anyway. But if you don't mind, addressing
I'll take
the
a walk through.
Thank
Yeah, see anything.
Alrighty, it is 4:12 p.m. That is, first of all, the entire conversation is pursuant to monitoring me. It's criminal conduct, and I'm documenting not because I'm expecting this third party to do anything. This is the OVITT Family Community Library that's repeatedly engaged in criminal summoning and harassing me with the Ontario Police Department as well. They are harassing with the demons that are stalking in the library. They're all sitting around me in the library monitoring. This is the city of Ontario that's filling the library and engaging in surveillance. And demons are monitoring by the maintenance of extraordinary noise. So like I stated before, the entity maintaining noise like loud banging on the desks. And remember, these are demons, so this feature of amplification is also amongst demons that are sitting around you in the physical and the natural, wanting to appear as though they're like normal people like me, and they're demons. So I showed you the video. I took a video. I did add that to the podcast. They're all sitting in engineer light and they're stalking with noise. This is mental illness. These are psychopaths. And they're also all monitoring my vagina together in the same way that they're monitoring with noise with regard to, for example, watching YouTube content that's about me, content about criminal acts that the demon-possessed have committed, knowledge of who I am, theft of my property, the impending raid by the federal government. This is when the entity is engaging in what is making noise pursuant, like it's an act of aggression, if you will, talking about a raid and then a boom by a demon sitting around stalking with noise. That's a psychopath, very passive-aggressive, demented conduct. And by the way, making noise is just like shining light. What's that going to do about your federal case? But it makes a psychopath feel like they're making a statement. That's in a sick person's mind. And a sick person's mind is surrounding me inside of the library. So these are all stalkers. They're sitting around an engineer light, engaging in gang stalking. You're not reading an engineer light, you're monitoring. That goes for the demons that are sitting around as though the veteran's advocate. He's a demon, monitoring my vagina as well, sitting here stalking and harassing me with the rest of these demons, stalking with noise, mental illness, stalking with light, which they're all doing. They're walking in impossible light activity. So this is, again, speaking to the exposure of mental illness that is shared by a population. They're all under the fake sun. I captured the fake sun over the entrance of this library at 12:26 after the entity covered it up this morning. It's not the sun. So these are demons, and I'm exposing demons, and I'm exposing criminal conduct that demons commit as a whole society. It's the state's pattern of conduct, a government system. And having the fake sun even at 12:26 p.m., and there's evidence of the fake sun being directly over me in the same manner in entirely different locations. But aside from showing you that they're engaged in gang stalking inside of the OVITT Family Community Library, you remember at the same library as I walked out yesterday afternoon after 5 p.m., and the fake sun is at the same entrance where Brightview is monitoring my vagina, and Leonida Builders Incorporated is monitoring my vagina, maintaining light activity, while a chain of demons and vehicles are surrounding the entrance, and the fake sun is over at 12:26. And the fake sun, as you know, yesterday, like I captured on video, where they're walking in engineer light after 5 p.m. The engineer light is spreading into the depths of the library, and they're walking in it in impossible light. They're demons. And it's very creepy when you see the impossibility of the environment and how the demon-possessed are just existing amongst it, openly engaging in their monitoring conduct, and also openly exposing the demented mindsets that they share while they engage in this conduct, and they're being exposed for it. I'm prosecuting for it, and I'm also exposing it. But nonetheless, these are demons that are engaging. It's prosecuted as harassment. All right, and I'm speaking to the entity that is employed here, and they're sharing in harassment. I'm speaking to her because I'm documenting, because they're the same entity targeting and doing so together with the same animosity as the entity's impending federal raid, and engaging in what is noise creation, and engineer light is monitoring pursuant to what is the intent to harass while they're engaging in surveillance on communication devices sitting around being demons. All right, it is currently, again, 4:17 p.m. This is OVITT Family Community Library engaging harassment while their co-defendants sit around stalking inside of the library. And that's the entity that's full of losers with nothing else to do, and they're waiting to be raided. So the federal government should know they're hostile about that, but a federal raid is still going to happen, and stalking with noise is relevant to a prosecution, but it's not stopping a raid. It's also not stopping a federal prosecution. It is currently 4:17 p.m. This is ongoing harassment and psychological torture. It's pursuant to what is also admittedly monitoring a vagina and a women's restroom, because that's exactly what they're doing with the same knowledge. These are sex offenders engaging in what is harassment on behalf of the government. This is P.O.C. That's a monitoring demon. It's noise and engineer light sitting next to me in the event that I get up, engaging in surveillance. P.O.C. All right, I've already documented this before, but this is just a reminder. The entity maintaining amplified booming inside of the quiet area of the library is also further confirmation that these are demons on assignment, sitting around stalking, because that's what the entity's engaged in, as the establishment itself maintains amplified noise. And these demons engaging in banging are doing so pursuant to the same pattern of conduct. The entity with any sudden movement, a loud booming is heard, which is pursuant to monitoring. They're all sitting around stalking in that path with regard to engineered light, which is also how they're monitoring. While they are sitting around in engineered light and stalking with noise, hitting objects, and doing so pursuant to the same pattern of conduct. These are mentally ill, violent sex offenders who are acting in furtherance of a criminal conspiracy to commit murder, while the federal government is going to be conducting raids. So that's not coming to pass, but it will be resulting in what is a federal prosecution regarding the same criminal pattern of conduct. And in court, it will be a matter of record that the entity is still to date engaging in targeting via the OVITT Family Community Library. All right, this is relevant to the entity engaging in kidnappings, engaging in malicious assertions, engaging in what is harassment and terrorism and psychological torture, the stalking with light conduct, the circus light environment is also ongoing relevant evidence pertaining to harassment by psychopaths who stalk with noise and stalk with light. Psychopaths that sit around stalking in a library when they typically don't even read. Okay? The only reason why they're in the library is because the demons are engaging in targeting a well-learned prosecutor who's exposing the fact that they're all the Nephilim. All right, it's currently 4:25 p.m. The entity is engaged in amplified booming noises inside of the library, which I've documented before, and the entity is engaged in that. This is analogous to the entity stalking with plane activity, and then all the demons are scattering like roaches all on the ground. That's what they're doing. It's encompassed inside of the library, helping the demons that are stalking around me. P.O.C.
All right, you will see the images of what is the further proof, if you will. I've already established it, but I'm also showing you the nexus between harassment with a noisy environment, if you will. And it's not just ongoing noise. The noise has a scheme, a common pattern. The noise is occurring pursuant to what I am physically doing. The noise is occurring pursuant to what it is I'm doing online on my devices, and the noise is also occurring pursuant to what those that are understood when you're aware of the pattern of conduct. The demons are also engaging in what are being emotional, if you will, triggered by whatever it is that they're monitoring. They also engage in stalking with noise, and so that's relevant to, again, watching a content online regarding a federal raid. And the entity being triggered by that, and then a loud bang occurring, or my sudden movement, and in the library, a loud boom is heard, and this is in the quiet area of the library. Any area, and it's uncharacteristic noise in the first. It's this noise coming out of nowhere, like the entity sounding like a Tyrannosaurus Rex while I'm on Euclid Avenue. Where's the roaring coming from? Like, where is that coming from? These are demons, okay? Very demonic, very abnormal, okay? As I have, in other words, produced a study of the demon-possessed who are, as you are analyzing the behavior of the population, mentally ill, psychopathic, antisocial to be specific, while it is also that's speaking to the malice of the psychopath that needs to be diagnosed and exposed because it wants to present as sane and normal, like its human counterpart, but these are demon-possessed people. This is the Nephilim, which you'll see at the OVITT Family Community Library. Relevant context regarding harassment with noise by the demons engaging in surveillance with the library. Like you hear the demons pacing in and out of the administration door in the background. They are monitoring in real time. This is going to be used to diagnose them. They're also going to be diagnosed regarding the malice of claiming things such as my being a child molester. That's relevant to diagnosing mental illness. Also, while they're simultaneously engaging in psychopathic things such as the deranged behavior of stalking with noise, pacing in and out of a doorway with simultaneity to another person's movement, including when you're not even looking at that person. Now, this is demonic behavior I am exposing, but you're going to analyze a human being's behavior, and it's going to be you're not getting into some sort of demon possession. You're going to analyze the behavior, and that's relevant for a mental illness diagnosis. Okay, the nexus between the behavior and the targeting of another person is shown through the P.O.C. But it's going to be the entity that's engaging in maliciously defaming other people is actually going to be subject to what is commitments and placements in asylums as their mental illness is the cause of what is criminal conduct, which is a threat to the public, a threat to other people, while these roaming psychopaths are free and improperly labeled, inadequately labeled, and they're working inside of the OVITT Family Community Library. So these demons are engaging in harassment on the first floor, and the relevant context I have stated is the impossible light activity. You will see my person being molested, just like when I'm outside at night and a demon is across the street on the opposite side of a very broad, wide street, and their headlights are not reaching at that distance. Their headlights are not blinding the drivers that are driving through it, in other words, causing wrecks, all right, because you wouldn't be able to see. This is targeting with light, which is what demons do. Demons that you know now are monitoring. Okay, and they live and exist and are present in an environment that's entirely engineered, unbeknownst to you, which is what they're doing while a fake sun remains over the targeted individual, where all of them are stalking with light, okay, which is a term of art, the purpose of monitoring spirits that are hiding inside of the bodies of people that are mentally ill, engaging in stalking a human being as a population. They're filling the venue of the OVITT Family Community Library. I'm showing a molestation of my person. It's a sex offense, and it's committed by the state. I'm on the elevator at a distance as far as light touching me. That's a great distance from any sort of light causing any of this activity that I'm capturing. And at 4:34 p.m., as I'm getting off of the elevator, I'm subject to a sex offense. And this is, you'll see my shadow inside of the depths of the elevator on the wall. That is some powerful light activity for it to even manifest on that metal elevator wall, and also at the distance that it is from where would be the sun would be. It was over the entrance at 12:26 p.m. So I don't know what sun would still be present and what sun is low enough and shooting laser light straight into the library to cause my shadow to appear inside of the elevator. Okay, that's relevant to the demons that are indeed engaging in what is gang stalking via employment, gang stalking via centering their attention around books when they're all stalking me and monitoring my vagina. The people of the state, the demons, okay, the Nephilim. They're engaging in surveillance in a library, and they're witnessing their prosecution and the embarrassing exposure, and they are more obsessed than they are concerned with stopping before they're subject to a federal raid that they're clearly triggered by, because they're engaging in harassing me while they're monitoring what it is that I'm doing on the internet. And the molestation of my person captured in an image at 4:34 p.m. is the direct evidence. Stalking with light is not circumstantial evidence. The impossible light activity, the body of the evidence proving the fact of engineered light and a fake sun, etc., is not circumstantial evidence in a federal case against the government for criminal surveillance and furtherance of murder. It is direct evidence. So, in other words, when you have the evidence of the specific environment, you are also aware that the entity is engaging in what is monitoring that you understand that is committed by presence, which is legally relevant. It is unlawful presence. It's pursuant to stalking. Nobody is present under any sort of right under the law. They're all engaging in stalking, and they're doing so in that environment, and they're doing so pursuant to what is the maintenance of audible activity, such as psychopaths pacing in and out of the entry, pacing in and out of an office door, maintaining loud booming, random and mysterious booming noises inside of the building. This is how an entity is maintaining amplified noise, and outside it's occurring under the guise of what is train activity, plane activity, helicopter activity. When you're subject to the same chaos, the same harassing environment that is focused on that target individual, and the fact that my body is being molested with light, in the same way that you're not permitted to touch my breast with your hands or anything connected to you or any part of my body, it is a sex offense while my breasts are being molested with impossible light, which is proven through the formation of my shadow on this elevator wall. It is sexual assault and battery for a criminal purpose. As an entity, a bunch of demons are sitting around in a library for that purpose. It's not about being at work. And when you are at work in engineered light, you're engaging in a criminal offense for which you'll be prosecuted. And the OVITT Family Community Library has already shown the malice. That's why they make malicious assertions regarding pedophilia that they are actually guilty of as demons. They're engaging in this pattern of conduct, and they're doing so pursuant to specific knowledge about who I am and that which I have suffered, which they share a part in as the entity. Very much aware of my identity, very much aware of a theft that I've been subject to that they partake in. That's why the fake sun's over me at the entrance. The fake sun is direct knowledge of who I am. You're not a stranger, and you're a psychopath by trying to act like you are while you're stalking me. Okay, this is the entity's admission to mental illness, and they just have not realized it yet. They're going to be both committed and convicted. It is 5:16 p.m. You'll see this uploaded to the Google Drive. This is P.O.C.
Alrighty, this is like, just so that you can see, reaching out toward me, the targeted individual, and this is mental illness, while the demon possessed who are engaged in monitoring, who are engaged in gang stalking, who are obsessed with every move you make and everything that you're doing, are engaging in that outward behavior as though anything other than stalking you, meaning this is somebody that is focused on me. This is somebody that's monitoring my physical movement, monitoring genitalia in the bathroom that belongs to me, and is outwardly presenting as though, like everyone else, nothing to see here, folks. And it's highly with the impossible light. It's currently 6:03 p.m. Pay attention to the impossible light, the chicanery. These are demons admitting to obsession with me and stalking. This is how you're going to prosecute in court. It's an unlawful threat posed by the government, not an individual. This is a collection of demons who are third parties in court, who are engaged in state action. All right, this is P.O.C. inside of the OVITT, where the terrorism underway by impossible light activity is captured. And pay attention in real time as you see the fake sun shining brighter and brighter and this impossible light activity disappearing. This is all demonic, and the demon possessed have admitted to the world that they are in fact stalking me. This is the Nephilim. This is P.O.C. This is the prosecution, by the way, of the kidnappers of the OVITT Family Community Library. P.O.C.
License Edward George 65 Robert 68. That's a paper plate on a Nissan Sentra. Gang stalking at Chevron. This is the same Chevron where I'm documenting the entity stalking with planes and helicopters under the fake sun and under the fake moon at night with impossible light activity, doing so as the people of the state. License plate 8 Thomas Mary Frank 340. 8 Xavier 8 Xavier Wendy Xavier 416. 9 Nancy Igloo Charlie 062. And you will see the fake moon over me at Chevron at 9:11 p.m. while the people of the state are gang stalking as an entity on behalf of the government, doing so pursuant to a pattern of conduct, and following me to 537 North Euclid Avenue, where I'm subject to the pattern of conduct of sexual violence, stalking with light, molestation with light, harassment, and domestic terrorism with light. Light that is supernatural light, engineered light, pursuant to what is criminal monitoring that's committed by the government that's acting in concert with a population. And that population is going to be individually prosecuted as a terrorist, and the government is being prosecuted as a terrorist as well, acting through a population. This is P.O.C. and this is uploaded to the Google Drive.